Hello, it's me. It's me. It's been so long since I've done a big night in the sky, but as I have taken a step back and evaluated a lot of different things, I feel like these big nights in the sky are meant for big nights in the sky. And they're long form content. So I used to work in social media, and long form content should live on a platform like YouTube. So that is why you don't see big nights in the sky anymore on Instagram. I'm doing more of a real focus over there, kind of like on TikTok, how it's short clips, bringing it back to um, Vine, the Vine days, right? If anybody listening had Vine, you know what I'm talking about. In college, that pretty much was the beginning of TikTok for all the Gen Z listening. Anyway, welcome to another big night in the sky. It is September 17th, 2027. Kidding, it's September 16th, but I am one day ahead and I want to give you a breakdown of this upcoming eclipse. I have two eclipses that I'm going to go over. And look, I'm thinking about my audience. I'm a teacher of astrology, so I'm not going to go super in depth with all that, but I do want to touch on certain things that maybe a budding astrologer would understand. Now, if you're somebody that wants to learn astrology, definitely keep an eye out on my socials. And if you're not on my email list, get on it because I am going to create a get together where I have budding astrologers come and study with each other. I hear a lot of talk about I'm a self-taught astrologer. And look, so was I up until 2019. Then I took the jump and I got certified. I studied with many different teachers, Rebecca Gordon, Natalia Benson. I've studied with Eliza Kelly, Dara Dubonnet, and countless of books from the Astro Twins all the way to Liz Green and Stephen Aurora, Dane Rudar. I mean, you name it. I just got back from a astrology conference, Norwalk, and it was in Seattle. I did that in May, met a lot of fantastic astrologers like Colin Bedell, saw new people that I had never even understood were in astrology, Judith Hill. So look, the self-taught is great, but it gets to the point where you're in kind of like an echo chamber and you're not practicing with other astrologers. Therefore, it's kind of like playing a sport. We can compare it to swimming. You want to be in the top heat of your race because you're going to swim faster. I was a swimmer for about 20 plus years. So if you're a budding astrologer and you're taking clients or you're hosting circles or you're just wanting to like finally do something like that, working with a group of people that are at your same level with a teacher that's higher than you, not saying that I'm better than you, just saying that I started earlier than you, like my coach Natalia Benson taught me. Um, I want to get you in a room. I want to see where you're at. I want to help get you to a level that's better. I want you to fine tune that eagle and lark, like Bernadette Brady says. So, with that, let's go ahead and go over the charts for the people listening in that do not want to be astrologers and just want to receive, then this is also going to be geared towards you. So, I'm going to go high level and I'm going to get a little detailed with both eclipses. So where we're at right now, we are in the eclipse portal and we've been there really since last week. And the way I interpret it is that in reality, that first quarter moon in Sagittarius being an immutable sign, to me, that was like when we really started to get in it. Eclipse portals, what happens is it's a time where time moves really fast, really fast. Um, Now, there's other people that could say it moves slow, but I've been interpreting eclipses pretty head on since 2023. That's when I went through my intermediate certification course with Rebecca Gordon, and eclipses were like the focal point of our curriculum. And from what I'm understanding is that eclipses are so powerful. They're full moons, new moons times 10, that time really does move pretty quickly. And it's almost like time, and I've said this before, is merging as one. So the past is the present, and the present is the future, and the future is the present, and the present is the past. It's very interesting. So just watch. I'm going to take these off because the blue light is like right in the lens. It's stupid. Okay, so you're going to feel like things are going to move pretty quickly. And I would just say stand still and allow it to move as fast as it needs to move. There might be something that needs to close for you. Timelines could be closing, timelines could be opening up. Your job is to stand still and do nothing. No cord cutting, no readings. Focus on good sleep, focus on eating well, and be an active listener. If you feel the call to do anything, any manifestation ritual, that is your free will. But what eclipses do is that they show that fate has a bigger hand than any human's free will. And that is why you don't really want to mess with them. But that's just me. And really, every astrologer or a tarot card reader or anybody that works in the esoteric occult world has a different approach. There's free will baked in everybody's charts. It's what we can do with life. I mean, it's our birthright to act accordingly of what our soul or our spirit wants to do. So everyone's different, but after studying with several renowned astrologers and taking a certification course and taking tests and passing them with 100%, I would say that I wouldn't do it if I were you. It's up to you. You do you, but I would not. It's better to wait. So the message that I am getting, and this is really when the lark starts to sing for me. That's my intuition with astrology. That's my divinatory skill. And really, it's my ability to like consciously understand signs from the spirit world. The message that I keep getting is wait. And it's kind of like that sound that we hear when we're at a crosswalk and you hear the crosswalk robot saying, wait, wait, wait. That's what's going on right now, in my opinion. So from now until October 3rd, I am not reading for anybody. I'm not. I don't think my expertise will be sound during this time. I need to listen. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not an oracle deck. I am not a magic 8-ball. I'm not a prophet. I'm an astrologer. I'm a practicing numerologist. And I'm an astrologer who interprets tarot. In addition, I do a lot of death work. I call myself a grief walker like Stephen Jenkinson or like an angel of death. So during this time, I'm actually going to be focusing and pivoting and really focusing on things that, I can control. So working on things that have already been created, like my courses, it's not really over. You can see in the background, though that is my inspiration for that course, my 4 grandparents. It's in honor of my nephew who passed away. I'm having a panel, it's not really over, panel 3 on Wednesday. I'm doing that. I'm focusing on Dance for the Departed, which is going to be happening here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. in October 23rd. It's a free, non-ticketed, open to the public event at Gabriella, a dance club in honor of people that have passed. So I'm going to be focusing my time on stuff like that. And then come October 3rd, I'm going to start reading again. I'll be at Arlo Hotels in Midtown, providing mini readings. I'll do my Trinity reading, which is a combination of astrology, numerology, and tarot. And then I will open my Calendly up to personal clients. In addition, I'm on Clarity app and Meet Coach. So I am really taking a good detox. And I learned that from Aliza Kelly. And Aliza Kelly and I have met twice. I was able to serve her, and I actually went to her There Are No Coincidences launch, her Oracle deck launch. And while I was there, I mean, I got a good feel of who she is as a person. She's incredible. And got to meet Ophi from Astrotrends through her, which was really cool. But you know what I am getting from her, and to be honest with you, I really feel like Aliza is probably one of the witchiest astrologers I've ever learned from. Um, yeah, it's just like this is a time to just chill and to just like take a detox, have spiritual hygiene. So I'm going to say that one more time, just so people like understand how big events these are. These are fated events. This is when really the word fate comes into astrology. These are cycles that have continued on after people have died. These are part of this thing called Saros cycles. I mean, if you want to think about eclipses and the story, the overarching story, it's like a tree. And if you cut down a tree and inside the tree, you see a circle or a spiral, and that is all the years that the tree has been alive. That's what eclipses are. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into the first eclipse. This is an exciting one because this is an opening act with an eclipse that hasn't been with us for quite some time. So this is a big deal. So let's look at the chart. And while I do that, I'm also going to pull up some dates because there are some important things to just go over. Okay, while I'm pulling up the internet, I do have this chart up. And I want to talk about it. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, this is a lunar eclipse. This is a full moon times 10, like I was saying. Rebecca Gordon taught me that. So anybody listening that's an astrologer, always give credit to your teachers. It's kind of like tipping your witch. You always want to respect your elders and the people that have passed on the wisdom. It's called good karma, good dharma. Natalia Benson also taught me, and Rebecca, I'm hearing both of them in my head right now. They taught me that, you know, if you're at a level where you need to, you know, copy other people's work and you're interpreting things, then maybe you're not at a level where you should be sitting with clients. Really, like it is, you know, it is like a great thing when people want to like use your work, but you always kind of like want to credit the source that you're getting the information from, because people will understand if it's you talking or you not talking. It's just easy for people to get that. So that's for the budding astrologers. Anyway, going back to the chart. So let's take a look at this. This is happening on Tuesday, September 27th or September 27th. Hello. It's happening Tuesday, September 17th, 2024 at 10:35 p.m. in Williamsburg, New York. That's where I am. I'm in Brooklyn. So this is a nighttime event for the people on the East Coast. Now, if you're in a country like France, for instance, this is actually going to be happening for you on September 18th. So you always have to like keep that in consideration. Channing Nichols, for instance, a whole sign astrologer. I'm a Placidus astrologer. She's on the West Coast. So everything that she is putting out is on Pacific time. So everybody needs to recognize that. Budding astrologers, if you're putting something in your newsletter, think about where, like who your audience is, where you're pulling the information. I used to be a pre-journalism major. I wanted to work in journalism before I even got a degree in accounting. And what I learned in my pre-journalism classes is that you need to check multiple sources before you put anything out there. It's like watching the news. So you look at CNN, Fox, ABC, BBC before you like actually form an opinion. And really, like, you don't need to like do exactly what those news outlets say. You have your own personal bias, but it's all about collecting facts, being objective, and putting your own spin to it. Okay, so in general, this is a big event because this is an opening act. We haven't had an eclipse in Pisces in a really, really long time. This is a full moon times 10. It's a pattern maker, pattern breaker. Once again, Rebecca Gordon taught me that. It's a great line. I was just with Lumi, who is a TA of mine, last night, and she mentioned something that I am going to repeat in this. So that's just a note for me. It's happening at 25 degrees Pisces, 40 minutes. You can see that at the top of the chart in the 11th house, we have the moon at 25 degrees. There's the symbol for Pisces at 40 minutes. Opposing, which you see in the inside of the wheel, the sun at 25 degrees Virgo, 40 minutes. Okay. So when you have a full moon, that's always happening. There is always an opposition. And as a Placidus astrologer, as somebody who took the CPA, accounting, not certified professional astrologer, I took the CPA, I worked with numbers, very detail oriented. I have Virgo in my chart. The first astrology teacher I ever had was a Virgo, or is a Virgo. Look, I want precision. I'm getting it down to the minute. And that's what I do with my clients. So anyway, that's happening. And really, when there's an opposition in the sky, there is this thing where, it's a tug of war. We are kind of like pulling, tug of war. Pisces is doing one thing, Virgo's doing the other. So when we have the organ of the past, which is the moon, and then the organ of the future, which is the sun, pulling rope with a full moon times 10, with these archetypes of one being the artist and one being I would say like the nutritionist. It's interesting, right? Because these are two polar opposite signs that are trying to find integration. That way we can find completion. So, yes, the node is still in Aries, north node being in Aries, and then the south node is still in Libra. They're both at 6 degrees. If you have any 6 degrees in your chart with either the signs of Aries or Libra, this is also an important message. You are really getting like a jolt from the universe to kind of get back on track to find, I mean, first of all, to find your destiny, because these are destiny points in a chart. Yeah, it's an eclipse in Pisces, and then the North Node is in Aries, but that can happen. And if you're at an intermediate level, or you want to be at an intermediate level, I can teach you that. But that does happen every now and then. It's still an eclipse, and we're at a 10-degree orb right now. So yeah, it's an eclipse. It's an opening act, and Pisces, honestly, is in a good position, whereas Virgo is in a little bit more of an uncomfortable position, kind of like what has been going on for Aries and Libra. So really, Pisces kind of has the upper hand on this eclipse cycle that's going to be going from now until 2027, whereas Virgo is going to be more in the hot seat. So any Pisces listening, honestly, it's a powerful time for you. It's a time where you're going to get an upgrade, like Lumi said. Virgo, we're going to be shedding some skin here. It's going to be a time where we're going to have to kind of flip the script. Lumi also said last night, life is a script. And really, it's hard sometimes to break patterns and habits that have been with us for years. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen really quickly, and I'm going to read to you the last time we had eclipses in these two signs. Okay, so it is a big deal, and I'm going to take you back in time, which I love, 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 love to do. I'm a Scorpio. We love to go back and analyze things, and I have Virgo energy in my chart. So yes, like, okay, so the last time we had an eclipse in Pisces was 2017, February of 2017. February 26th, if we want to get detailed. So what I would like for people listening to think about is, what were you doing in February of 2017? That opening act of that eclipse cycle actually occurred in 2015, March 20th, 2015. So from 2015 to 2017, what were you doing? Who were you with? What did you believe in? I mean, the list could go on and on and on and on. I'm going to take you back even further, because what happens is that cycle, the North Node was in Virgo, while the South Node was in Pisces. So really, we haven't had the combination of the North Node being in Pisces and the South Node being in Virgo since even farther back. So I'm going to give you another date. August 28th, 2007. What were you doing? That was the last time there was a Pisces eclipse, when the North Node was in Pisces. And really, that story began on March 14th, 2006. It was an opening act by Virgo. And I'm just scanning this real quickly. Look, I'm taking a risk. I haven't really done the research. I'm on Cafe Astrology. I love the resource. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing resource. I'm looking at my phone, 1111, make a wish. Let's make sure that this eclipse season is nice for both Pisces and Virgo, and actually all 12 signs. Okay, so let me just like really quickly verify this one eclipse. So I would say I'm going to use the August 28th, 2007. And I just am curious what the North Node was in. Yeah, the North Node was in Pisces and the South Node was in Virgo, exactly the position that we're about to go in. And it's real interesting because my grandfather on my mother's side, Grandpa Jack, he died that year and he died maybe 14 days before this eclipse. And he was a Pisces. Kind of interesting. I mean, look, eclipses are real powerful. And everyone, my family members are in assisted living for Alzheimer's and dementia. My sister is a geriatric nurse practitioner, so they've been working with nurses for a long time with people that are at end of life, and a lot of the time people do pass around full moons and eclipses in general. You might see some deaths that are real tragic, real sudden. It's nothing to be afraid of because at the end of the day, as a grief walker, and like Stephen Jenkinson teaches, and like Sylvia Brown teaches, it's like none of us are going to get out of here alive. Like we all are going to die. And that is why I love astrology, because it honors the natural uh, cyclical nature of life, where there is no life without death, no death without life. And that is what I preach in my course, It's Not Really Over. I also preach it in my other course, Rise from the Ashes. So I am the teacher of taboo topics. I talk about death all day, every day. I mean, I'm a Scorpio. I mean, like if someone has got to do it, that's what my hypnotherapist, who's a Scorpio, says as well. But anyway, let's look at like what else is in the mix with this eclipse. So really what I like is that Neptune is there. It's at a 3-degree conjunction with the moon. This is going to be really dreamlike for these Pisces. Neptune loves to be in Pisces. It's retrograde. Um, there's all about like Hollywood dreams, aspirations, like all the good things of Neptune, but then there's delusion, illusion, deception. So like we got to be a little bit careful. I posted something about Neptune retrograde, and it's like what you see is not what you always get type of thing. So we need to be really mindful of that going into this eclipse. Look, Saturn is there too. Saturn, there's order there. I like that Saturn is there. It's about a 10-degree conjunction with the moon, not as tight as Neptune, but I like that Saturn is there. And so people going through their Saturn return, people that have a natal Saturn in Pisces, look, we're going backwards in time with this Saturn return when Saturn is retrograde. The way I interpret a Saturn retrograde, or Saturn retrograde, is it's an internal, more of an internal journey. How I interpret a Saturn return is like you're not out of it until Saturn moves out of your natal sign. That's the way I look at it. I have a lot of Capricorn energy in my chart. And after going through my own Saturn return, which is an Aquarius, which is also another traditional dignified placement of Saturn, I understand that a Saturn return, it's not a ripping the band-aid off type of thing. It's a slow burn. Like you're learning lessons the entire time. So what I say here is that this is very dreamy and there's a lot of order. And I think Pisces are finally going to be like, okay, like I can get my ducks in a row. And it's interesting that it's happening during Virgo season, because Virgo is typically the sign that's getting their ducks in a row. I love to say that about Virgo. But Pisces is going to be the sign that's doing that with this eclipse, especially the people that are doing the work. So Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Pisces north node. It's a time for you. Virgo, Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Virgo rising, Virgo north node. This is going to be a little bit more tricky. You might feel a little bit full moon crazy, and that is unlike you because you typically have your ducks in a row. But you have to learn how to let go and let God. That is Pisces energy. Okay, so also I learned that the 25th degree is all about purging. I learned that last night with Lumi. Once again, she was one of my TAs when I went through intermediate with Rebecca Gordon. But I have Rebecca Gordon's book right now. I checked it out from the library. It's Your Body and the Stars. And I'm going to read a little bit about Pisces and a little bit about Virgo. The theme of Pisces, according to Rebecca, is integrate spirit into matter. And I couldn't agree more. The body region that rules Pisces is the feet. And if anybody listening realizes that you can map the entire foot out, map the entire body out with the foot. So let's go ahead and just this is important to drive home. Pisces is the 12th and final sign of the zodiac cycle. Its energy acknowledges the entire continuum of who you are from matter to spirit, and it asks that you integrate them in your life. And what I would say during this time, because we're not manifesting, you can get a foot massage. That could be something that you do that could really, like, you could take care of yourself. It's a time for self-care, honestly. Hashtag self-care. Okay, let's go to Virgo. She is a Virgo, which it's interesting to hear what she has to say about Virgo. Theme, serve with purity of purpose. And the body region that Virgo rules is the belly, also the nervous system. That's why Virgo sometimes has that nervous energy. Okay, Virgo is the 6th sign of the zodiac cycle. Its energy pertains to serving a purpose that allows all other people, places, and things to serve theirs. So with this, it's the belly of the Virgin, well as Pisces is the feet of the fish. I told you to maybe get a foot massage. What I would say for Virgos, eat clean. Probiotics, kombucha, like stuff like that. Like we're not doing any like cord cutting or crazy, excuse my French, shit like where we're interacting with the sun and the moon while they're like getting downloads at the same time. It sounds so chaotic. Like I don't think it's a good idea. Up to you though. Doing simple things like taking care of yourself, that is not a manifestation ritual. That is an example of self-care. So really just trying to like what I'm going to be doing during this particular eclipse that happens tomorrow is I'm going to be focusing on sleep, focusing on getting my home in order. If I have the opportunity to get a foot massage, great. I'm definitely going to make sure what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body is clean. I probably will not be drinking alcohol. I probably won't be doing any other substance because it's a time to listen. Astronomically, what's going on is there is an obstruction of light coming from Earth while the sun is trying to reflect its light onto the moon. The Earth is coming in between that motion, And so we are getting downloads from the sun and the moon at the exact same time. And if that sounds important, it is important. Therefore, that is why we just kind of like wait, 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 wait. Looking at this chart, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's grabbing my eye. I mean, really, this is the first time that I've really sat with it and looked at it. I would say what's grabbing my mind is that we got Pluto in Capricorn at the 29th degree, and then we have Uranus at the 27th degree of Taurus, both in earth signs. That's going to make a sextile to the moon because these are both yin elements of the zodiac. And it's interesting because both of these outer planets, you know, they're really like fate as well. They're fated planets. They're generational planets. For them to both be retrograde, it's interesting. And it's in Earth, and then we have the sun in Virgo. So really there's a grand Earth trine going on, and then there's two sextiles from the moon, one to Uranus, one to Pluto. So earth signs in general, like I feel like this is going to be a big time for you to like let go. Flip the script, course correct. Capricorn, course correct. Taurus, flip the script. Virgo, let go. Other than that, there is a square to Jupiter and Gemini. I would say that the Geminis on the call err on the side of caution. Nothing impulsive, nothing irrational. It's hard to give that advice when I'm a Gemini moon and my mind moves a mile a minute, but I'm telling you, it's better to not be impulsive during this time. And look, Gemini's quick. Jupiter in Gemini is a detriment placement. It's kind of a tough placement. It has to, I mean, it's uncomfortable in that sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I mean, Jupiter and Gemini, we've had a brat summer, which has been lots and lots of fun. But I'm saying with the eclipses, it's like, yeah, let's not like have a brat summer anymore. Like summer is starting to wind down. We're going into fall. Things are starting to fall off the trees. We need to kind of mimic what is going on seasonally, as above, so below, as within, so without. So that's what I see with the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So we are going to go ahead and move on. I'm looking at the clock. It's 40 minutes. I'll probably spend less time on this one because look, this has been a story that has been going on since April of 2023. So we have the next eclipse. This one's happening on October 2nd. October, we're still in Libra season, actually. Well, actually, sorry, back up. We will move out of Virgo season during this eclipse portal, and we'll move in to Libra season, which is very, very cool. Libra, my goodness, you have really been under the microscope since April of 2023. We are definitely releasing the low vibe tendencies of Libra, which are people pleasing, bending over backwards for people that would never return the favor, and putting other people's wants and needs before our own. If you look at this chart, budding astrologers, if you look at the inside, pretty clean looking, right? From a first glance. Let's take a look at it. This one's happening in Libra. It is a new moon. So this is a new moon times 10. Look, I can get real like detailed and meta with people that want to study with me. So like we could go over partial, we could go over annular, what that means for numeral. We're not going to do that here. Remember, I'm thinking of my audience. So really, the Libras on the call, I want your attention. Look, this cycle for you all, I think, has been very uncomfortable. I have some Libras that I know, my mom being one of them, and I don't think that she is upset that I would say this, but look, Libra creates space for the other person. So while the North Node is in Aries, which it still is on October 2nd, I mean, this is a time to be selfish. This is why so many people are breaking up, straying from the pack, on that lone wolf journey, starting the business, like going and doing the thing that people never thought they would do, not even thinking about what the other person is thinking, giving zero F's what the other person is thinking. That's what's going on collectively. So really, it's a time where Aries should feel really empowered. Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising, Aries north node. Aries north nodes are going through nodal returns. My father, being an Aries north node, is going through a nodal return. And I feel like he's finally getting to the point where he's like, okay, I've made it. He's 74, going on 75, has worked his butt off to get where he's at today. And I mean, he probably will, I mean, being a Capricorn, he'll probably work till the day he dies. But it's just interesting having two parents kind of go through these cycles in a different way. Mom going through the cycle where she's shedding a skin, dad going through the cycle where he's really stepping into his own. And it's really interesting and fascinating to observe their behavior. I've been doing that since I was real little. That's why I got a human development and family studies minor degree at the University of Missouri. And when I was in that degree program, I had many times where I would write papers and my professors would ask if, they could submit the papers to like contests because they thought that I had such an interesting perspective on things. And really, I would have to credit that to just being a part of a large family and being very, very curious. I think that that's my Gemini moon. But feeling the call to understand where I come from at a very young age. Why do my parents act a certain way? Why do my siblings act a certain way? So, anyway, when I look at this chart, what I see is there's a lot of activity in Libra. There's a stellium in Libra. So this is a big eclipse for Libra. Just trying to drive that point home, we have the south node at 6 degrees, moon at 10 degrees, sun at 10 degrees, both at the 3-minute mark. Then we have the dark moon Lilith. It's also known as black moon Lilith, or you could just call it Lilith, at 10 degrees. That is a big and an important thing to talk about. And then we have Mercury at 11 degrees Libra. So let's first unpack the stellium, and then I'll go outside the stellium to see if there's anything else that's happening that's really wanting to get into the mix of this eclipse. So first and foremost, sun and the moon are meeting in the sign of We. This is the final act of the Aries Libra axis eclipse cycle that will be with us until the next one years from now. So it's a big deal. Think of this as like the encore performance at a Gwen Stefani show. Gwen Stefani is a Libra, so that's why I say that. It's encore, right? She needs to go back out on stage and she's going to do her final song. It's going to probably be a hit. This is me going in my past while I used to work as a social media coordinator at Madison Square Garden, an entertainment corporation. Anyway, this is the final act. So this is a big deal. 10 in numerology, that's my ruling number. So I'm going to grab my numerology book. I'm disappearing, but I'm still here. I'm a little bit of a magician. I'm not an oracle deck, but I'm a magician. Okay, so I have my book. Rosemary Templeton, numerology. I got this when I used to live in Alphabet City or East Village. I can't remember. I lived in both of those neighborhoods at Enchantment. It's the oldest occult store in New York City, and it's real witchy. It's changed locations since the pandemic, but they still have a lot of stuff that's very, very cool in that store. So anyway, it says 10, like its first component, 1, the number 10 represents unity and creative force. Ruled by the positive sun, it embodies the element of fire with its capacity to burn out whatever physical aspects do not serve the highest good. Like 1, it vibrates to the color of flame. So really, what I believe what's going on is we're going to burn up anything else that's holding us back with putting ourselves first. Libra, if you still are operating out of the habit or the reading the script of, oh, well, I need to think about the other person, or I need to do this, that, blah, 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 blah. Stop. We need you to take up space. This is your final opportunity to do that. With the dark moon Lilith being there, look, this is interesting. This happened, this change of the Lilith going from Virgo to Libra happened in the summer. And I love it that it's with this eclipse, because Lilith is the darkest part of the moon, and this is a new moon. This is when it's super dark in the sky. We don't see the moon. And for the Lilith to be there at the same degree, I mean, it's not at the same minute, but it's at the same degree. It's telling me that this is like really, really important. Really, really important for Libras to listen to the call to finally take up space. Yes, it's good to be diplomatic. Yes, it's good to, not always rock the boat and like make sure that there's harmony, right? Libra loves that. But like there is sometimes like a missed opportunity when we're allowing the other person to speak. You might miss an opportunity, Libra, where you could shine. So you got to like take up space. And look, Mercury is there at Libra, 11 degrees. 11 in numerology, it's a power number. It's a good number. Anytime a number repeats, I mean, that number's energy just strengthens. So in the same book, the number 11 represents idealism, spirituality, and faith. As a power number, it vibrates to the frequencies of spiritual natural law, which is amazing for Libra. Libra loves law, it's the court systems. In resonance with material law, it is the symbol of genius. There's Mercury. Mercury is the planet of genius, invention, independent thought, and action. I love that it says independent thought and action. Humans who are able to elevate themselves to live in resonance with 11 have the capacity to access the spiritual realms where all knowledge resides, thereby learning and applying universal truths for the benefit of all humanity. 11 vibrates to the colors of white, black, yellow, and violet. Okay, so really this is a big, big, big time for Libra. Now, 11 is repeating again. Anytime that happens, as a practicing self-taught numerologist, I feel like that is a message that we do need to work with the energy of 11. When I was talking about 11, reading the book, it talked about a lot of spirituality. And because like that opening act in Pisces occurred, 2 weeks or a week before, 2 weeks before, September 17th, and this one's October 2nd. There is an element of spirituality that's going to be lingering, even though, like I said, the North Node is still in Aries. There is something there. where we do need to let go and let God, whatever that means to you. Look, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person, even though my first college credit in high school, my only college credit that transferred over to Mizzou from St. Joseph's Academy in St. Louis was world religions. I understand world religions. I understand religion, but I look at myself as a spiritual person. I have Native American heritage. I am also Irish, Scottish, English. There's a lot of Celtic heritage and lineage. Both of those groups of people, highly spiritual. Halloween was Samhain. So the spiritual part, and we're literally about to go into spooky season, being October. Like, we really do need to kind of like understand that there's something greater than planet Earth. We also have to remember that we are on a planet that's revolving around the sun. We get really wrapped up in our 3D worlds and we forget that there's something larger. We need to get out of the 3D world and get back into the 5D world where we're thinking we are all human beings on a spiritual journey. Trying to look if there's anything else, but really nothing is catching my mind or catching my eyes. Yeah, nothing's really catching my eyes. This is a more of a simple eclipse, but it doesn't mean it's not as powerful. It's still very, very powerful. Um, so let's look at a couple things before we get off the call because I'm going to make it an hour. I'm at 52 minutes right now. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to tell you when actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you something that I wrote about Lilith. Because Lilith is a point in the sky. It's a mathematical point. That's when, my math background as an accountant really does come in handy. There is a lot of geometry with astrology. People don't realize um, lots and lots and lots. Anyway, let's look at this. I wrote something back when Lilith moved from Virgo to Libra, because yeah, I believe that's what happened. Yeah, Virgo to Libra, and it happened on July 1st. Every 9 months, it changes signs. So Lilith changes signs every 9 months. And this is what I wrote. Did you know that we only see one side of the moon unless we go up to space? Lilith is the darkest part of the moon that we never see from our vantage point on Earth. Because we cannot see this side of the moon from Earth, in astrology, this placement in the natal birth chart is attached to parts of ourselves that we tend to hide from. Attached to our shadow and taboo, Lilith at times brings about shame, since it harnesses personality traits that we feel are forbidden. Therefore, there's lots of rejection associated with Lilith. However, once we own these parts of ourselves, we feel empowered and are divine and are in the divine feminine flow. I said, with another eclipse season ahead, Lilith will most definitely be a player in the solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd. And just thinking about the United States, this particular eclipse is like 1 month out from the actual election date, and Kamala being a Libra. I mean, if she leans into the low vibe tendencies of Libra, that is going to be detrimental to her performance. If she begins to take up space, actually, like, it will be a positive experience for her. Now, Donald Trump has Jupiter on his side because he's a Gemini, but remember, it's a detriment placement. So we'll see what happens. I really honestly feel like this is the fall of what we're used to seeing with presidents and presidential elections, because this is the last time Pluto is in Capricorn in our lifetime. I'll say that one more time. This is the last time that Pluto is in Capricorn in our lifetime, unless we're immortal, which many of you listening are not immortal. Either am I. Okay. Do want to point out that the last time that there was an eclipse in Libra that is not a part of this cycle was in 2014. 2014. And that is when the North Node was in Libra. So that was more of a positive, well, yin and yang. Yin and yang. You got to realize that we need both energies. Nothing is bad, nothing is good. We don't need it all. So 2014 with a Libra lunar eclipse. But then when I'm looking at this resource and I'm going farther back, the last time that there was a Libra eclipse in the other cycle was 2005, which is wild to think. Anyway, there's so much more to like unpack. There's so much more to say about these eclipses, but I also don't want to overwhelm people. I think that the best thing to do is to really just, sorry, I am just verifying one thing. The best thing to do during this time is to listen, to stand still, to let the cosmos do their work, trust the process. And really, like, I'm excited. It's an exciting time. These are harbingers of the year. These are chaotic periods, but I love doing this. I love interpreting eclipses. I think that they're so fascinating. There is a string that attaches eclipses from generations that we've, never came in contact with. And so because I do so much work with my ancestry, for me, like, eclipses are during a time where like we really do get to connect with the lives that they had to live and the people that came even before them. We have a connection with time. It's so fascinating, and it's really, really sacred. Ancient civilizations did fear them at one point, and there is some fear attached to them. And I think the fear is just like, we just don't really know what could happen, right? So that is why it's better to just kind of take a back seat. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this big night in the sky. If you want to look at videos like this that are similar, go back, watch the other big nights in the sky, subscribe to my channel. I obviously will be doing another big night in the sky come the springtime, when we close up the Aries Libra axis, and then we continue the Virgo Pisces axis. So anyway, peace be with you all. That's my Catholicism coming out. Went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school. Never got confirmed though. Like I said, I'm very spiritual, but do send people peace during this time. And my last message that I want to give to you all is just see you on the other side. So much change is going to happen. You're not even going to recognize people around you, yourself. It's a good thing. Eclipses are brought to us for much needed change. So embrace the change. Change is the only constant in our life. And like I said earlier, no manifestation rituals, because change is a manifestation on its own. And I learned that from Gala Darling, who is a Virgo. Take care, and I'll see you next time.